Welcome to the Context Machine, episode 602. I'm Bryan Chaffin.
You told me not to look at the script, so I just assumed
my
that
God.
you had something else to say right there. All right. And I'm Jeff Gamet. Check us out on our awesome website, contextmachine.io. And did I just screw it all up for you?
Yeah, probably. But you can also use contextmachine.io to reach out to us, or no, hold on. No, Twitter. You can find us on Mastodon, if assuming you search for it, at Context Machine. Or we're also now, at Context Machine on post.news.
We are. Yeah.
I gave myself an edit. In the script, I gave myself an edit. But you know what? Twitter.
Oh, you did. You did. Right there in the script.
Yeah.
You totally.
Yeah. And also Twitter.
Yourself. Yeah. Oh. Okay. To be fair, you said, well, you have to search on Mastodon. You're going to have to search on any of the social media networks.
Or you could actually just go to post.news/context machine. See, I can actually just say that. Can you say that? Can you say, you could say that about Mastodon. You just got to make sure you get the right instance of Mastodon for that to work.
You just say, go to Mastodon and search for Context Machine. Alternately, we could say, if you go to our website, contextmachine.io, we have links to all of the social media platforms. Doesn't that sound good?
That does sound good. Does a direct link actually work if you're going to Mastodon?
Yes, of course it does. Gee, man. Okay, see, here's the problem. If we say, and just go to our website, contextmachine.io, to find all of the social media networks, it completely takes away the ability for you to sit here and bitch and moan about whatever social media network you have your panties in a bunch about this week.
It's true, but it's completely true. And at all times, we must, design the content around, enabling me in all ways.
Absolutely.
The problem, it's the fact that there's mastodon.com and mastodon.com without the vowels, and then mastodon.social and mastodon.social without the vowels, and who knows how many other instances. That is an impediment for a lot of new folks. A lot of new folks, they're going to get to Mastodon and whatever instance they've arrived at, and they're not going to know what to do, and they're going to be intimidated by it, right? And so they're just going to go, "Oh, I'll deal with it later," or just I'm not going to deal with it at all. And that's my problem with Mastodon.
If we were having this discussion a few months ago, oh wait, I think we did.
We've been having this for a while now.
We have. Yeah. So that complaint a few months ago, that was valid. But the onboarding process is much smoother now. Yes, you still have multiple instances, to choose a server to choose from when you start, but they make it easy. It's less intimidating now when you go to sign up, and as Mastodon is becoming more mainstream, what I'm seeing happening is someone will say, "Well, I guess I should sign up for Mastodon because all my friends are on it," and it turns out all your friends are on a specific server. So they tell you, "Hey, just go sign up for this one." And while on one hand, sure, it can be kind of confusing, and the onboarding process used to be a lot clunkier, the fact that this is a distributed social network, I see as a strength for Mastodon in the long run, because let's say there's one instance that goes totally space Karen on us. That one doesn't take down the entire service, like Twitter. So it can be a self-healing system, and it doesn't tolerate a lot of the dumpster fire stuff that you see on, say, like Twitter.
Well, I hear you, and what I really hear is blah, blah, blah. Bonk, bonk on the head.
I know. Bonk, bonk on the head. Hail, hail, fire and snow. Do you remember when you reached out to ask me if I would be on board with us starting up the context machine, just us? And
which time?
And you said, well, the time where you said, "Hey Jeff, I need a platform that
after
we
Dave
can
and I
center
sold
all around me, and it's totally an enabling platform for Bryan."
After Dave and I sold TMO, that time,
right?
Got it.
Yeah, that time. Yeah, and you're like, yeah, I need to have something where it's all about me.
Mm-hmm.
Can we do context machine for that? I mean, yeah, sure. We'll do something all about Bryan.
Yes. Excellent.
That's all.
Okay. That time I actually heard your words. Didn't just hear the blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 ginger, blah, blah, blah. That's a really good Fireside cartoon.
Right.
Well, that's this week's context machine.
We
Thanks
have
for listening.
We have also some other post news. They have added a news feed of vetted news sources. The content is not curated or vetted. It's
That's right. All about animals, so veterinarian news sources.
The content is not being curated to my knowledge. It's just whose content is on there is being vetted. It's legit news organizations, some of which are entire articles that are free to read, and some of which can be read for a point, i.e., or multiple points, i.e., paying for them a very tiny amount, but you would in fact have to pay for it if you wanted to read it. But it's very handy. So far, I'm enjoying it. I'm really liking Post still. They removed the wait list. So Context Machine is on Post, and you can go sign up on Post too. And there you have it.
Great news. Now you can sign up for Post and not have to wait to wonder what you're supposed to do on the platform. You can wonder right away.
Fair enough.
I still don't understand why people listen to us.
I don't either, but some folks may possibly be wondering why it is that we're yet again talking about social media platforms. And that's because this week, Twitter actually, I guess it's since we did the last show.
Yes. Which was last week.
Right. So basically the third-party apps, in particular, Tweetbot, Twitterfic, to my knowledge, there are a couple that still work. Phoenix, maybe? Is Phoenix one?
Phoenix was shut down.
When?
As well.
Because at first it was not initially shut down.
It was one of the early shutdowns.
I just read something.
It might have been missed
yesterday. The app was still pulling down, but they pulled their I think they pulled their Google Play.
I know Phoenix was one of the apps that was impacted by this.
Okay.
They may have opened up another API instance or license or whatever.
Like an older API. Yeah. Oh, because I think Tweetbot tried that, where they were using some older unused APIs, but then those got pulled. So here's the thing.
What they did was they said, we can do this, but we don't want to because we don't want to get sued by someone that has more money than they could possibly spend.
Okay.
But I mean, you were totally on the right track with that.
So Twitter essentially blocked the API keys that were used by multiple third-party apps, Tweetbot and
Not
Twitter.
Essentially, literally.
Okay, fine. Literally, that's if you want to be literal.
Mostly pedantic,
but I support this, and did so without any communication to anyone, not to Twitter users, not to the developers. And the thing, I'll say this up front: these developers were in large part key to Twitter's early success. Right?
Yes,
I mean, Twitterrific was the first Twitter app before Twitter had an app. Twitter only has an app because they bought a third-party app.
They bought Tweety.
Right, Tweety, which was a great app. And Tweety didn't exist when Twitterific. Nothing existed. It was Twitterific. Twitterific made the first app to consume and post Twitter content. And obviously,
Twitterific was the app that coined the term tweet.
That I had forgotten that, but read that in an article from, I think, Engadget yesterday. And so, and I get that. I get that Elon Musk doesn't necessarily care about Twitter's, or I get that he doesn't really care about. I mean, there's a lot of things he doesn't care about. I'm not saying this right.
Space Karen don't give a frack.
He
saved you an edit.
It annoys the crap out of me when people who are responsible for early success and growth get no appreciation or credit later. That it's a pet peeve of mine. They're like, there's like there are some things that you earn, and then once you've earned it, you should be able to keep it. So regardless, with zero communication, Twitter cut their API access, making these apps worthless in a flash of a second.
Yes.
All right.
Now,
gets worse. Okay. I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
I was going to lead into what it is. It gets worse, but you're on a roll. So roll with it, man.
I'm going to roll with it. They then lied about the reason for it. That lie was indirect. The Twitter account posted, this cowardly posted something about how they were enforcing long-standing API rules. But there were no rules nothing had changed. These apps weren't breaking any rules. That was a lie. I believe that was a lie.
Yeah, I'm with you. I believe that was straight up a lie, and
still with no direct communication
information. Yeah, no insider information, but I believe that lie came directly from Space Karen, and he told whoever had access to that Twitter dev account to say that thing, and so they did, and it was a lie.
And then a few days after that, they actually changed the rules to just prohibit third-party apps, but again, without any direct communication to these developers who have been instrumental to Twitter's success. A lot of power users used apps like Twitterific and Tweetbot. And Phoenix. Actually, Phoenix was supposed to be popular too.
Phoenix was really popular.
I'd never even heard of it, to be honest. But I understand.
Well, the great thing is there were so many apps. It was a very rich ecosystem. There were so many good apps out there that not knowing about one of them is totally reasonable because there were so many great ones.
Thank you. That's very kind of you to say. The thing to me, Jeff. Mm-hmm. I've tried Twitter's app. I did often use Twitter's app on iOS, but for a very specific reason, just to get the notifications of content, because there were some things that I was seeing that way that I wasn't otherwise seeing. Mm-hmm. I like Tweetbot. Most of my Twitter consumption and what little posting I did was done through Tweetbot on my Mac. I don't love Twitter on the web, and I didn't like. I did not like the Twitter branded app on my Mac.
I'm with you.
All subjective. I'm sure there are plenty of people who like it.
Of course. Yeah, I do know people that have been using the Twitter mobile app as their preferred client because it's the one they actually do like the best.
Sure.
And great. Good for them.
Good for them. That is fantastic. And I also, by the way, for the record, I know this is one of the complaints that Space Karen had. I'm going to call him that too for now. That he had was that Twitter third-party apps often didn't show Twitter's ads, which is one of the ways that Twitter makes money. Used to make
which was a Twitter thing.
I get that Twitter would prefer here's what I don't understand. Why not change the API rules to require that the apps show the ads. If you want the ads shown, require that. Don't kill the apps.
Well, and if you want the ad shown, and it's part of the requirement, then you need to feed those ads out. And Twitter wasn't doing that. So,
which is something, by the way,
that was all on Twitter.
And that actually predates Elon Musk's takeover of the company.
Yes,
because Twitter did some things to limit third-party apps several years ago, but then they backed off.
They tried to shut them down several years ago, and then backed off, and then it was more of and
that was under Jack Dorsey.
Thing. That was all under Jack. Yep.
Yeah, and I didn't understand at that time, why not just simply require these apps to show the ads? I don't just require that.
And and it isn't even so much require them to do it. Put the ads in the feed so that they're there.
Well, but then the apps could theoretically have pulled them out.
Yeah, sure. But you don't have an opportunity to deal with that if you're not even sending those ads out to the third-party clients anyhow. So, yeah, this problem was all Twitter's own making.
Yeah, and it's possible that there's some Chaffin's razor here, and that there's maybe something we don't understand because this actually it seems insane.
It does.
Now, part of Chaffin's razor is that very few people are insane. But by definition, that means that there are some people who are insane. So sometimes when you see something that's crazy, they're actually crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's missing information. Usually there's missing information. It's conceivable that there's missing information here because it seems insane that Twitter under Jack Dorsey didn't require ads to be shown and include those ads in the feed. And it's possible that is still the case today. Regardless, cutting off access is the wrong move. Doing so with zero communication. Of course, zero communication, I guess, is easier when you have fired your entire communications team.
Very much so. Yep.
Because that's not at all insane to do.
Right.
I have multiple problems with this. One is that my preferred way of consuming Twitter is Tweetbot. After having tried many things, and if you're going to take away my preferred way, you can basically go shove it up your ass. Secondly,
you're on fire this week.
Freaking pissed, man. Secondly, I have philosophical issues with not communicating with these developers that are part and parcel of your own ecosystem, even if you inherited them. And all of the developers have said there's been zero communication, including after they reached out saying, what the heck is going on? No communication.
Right, there's still no communication.
Right. So I'm essentially done with Twitter at this point. That could change. I'm not trying to plant a flag that I can't live by. It's conceivable that something will cause me to change my opinion there. But for now, I'm done with Twitter.
Yeah. Okay. So to summarize, the third-party app developers had their access to the APIs shut down for violating a long-standing rule that was created a week after that they were shut down.
And that rule was that they can't exist.
And the rule was that they can't exist. Yes, that would be it. Yeah. I have not used Twitter since the API shutdown happened. And that's because my client of choice, Tweetbot, stopped working.
And you were using Tweetbox on your mobile and desktop.
Yes. And I had several other Twitter clients. I loved these Twitter clients and was so much into supporting the developers. Get this, when Twitterific a few years ago did a Kickstarter to raise funds to do the whole rebuild of their app, even though it was not my app of choice, I did the Kickstarter and paid for the app. And
Twitterific had a lot of power user features.
Twitterific was a fantastic app, and Tweetbot was a fantastic app. And
I liked Twitterific had a lot of features aimed at power posters and corporate posters.
Yeah.
And yes. I feel like Tweetbot was definitely aimed more at Twitter consumers. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I could just be projecting my own usage on it, but I like the way Tweetbot worked a lot.
They had a little bit different take on interacting with your content. And I would say for a lot of people, Tweetbot was right up there as, like a pro power tool. And it really came down to what you wanted to use. I'm actually really excited because Paul, the creator of Tweetbot, he's been hard at work on a new app called Ivory.
What is that? I caught mention of it, but didn't chase it down.
That's his Mastodon client. So what he was doing was developing a code base so that he could have a core foundation that was his social media app, and then basically plug onto it the module that would make it Tweetbot or the module that would make it Ivory. And Space Karen made it a lot easier for him to move forward with his development because now he doesn't have to worry about supporting Twitter. So
is it going to be is like a post Mastodon competitor?
It's it's a third-party app for posting and consuming Mastodon content.
Oh, it's a Mastodon client.
Yeah, Mastodon client.
I see. That actually may make Hence, Mastodon more usable.
Ivory. You need to check out Ice Cube. Ice Cube. You know what? I'll make sure we have links to these in the show notes. So the apps that I would check out, well, Ivory, the beta is full, but Paul is pushing really hard to get Ivory done and approved and on the App Store right away. It won't be feature complete because his roadmap suddenly changed, but the rest of the features will be coming. So watch for Ivory, check out Ice Cube, check out Toot. And there's another one that I've been playing around with that I liked, and I can't remember what it is, but I'll make sure that's in the show notes too.
And here is one of the justified criticisms. One of the reasonable criticisms about Post is there is no app yet. I mean, Post is not as far along in its development, nowhere near as far along in its development as something like Mastodon, which has been here for several years. Postodon is relatively new. There's no app and there's no PI.
Did you just say Postodon?
I did, actually. I didn't realize that until you pointed it out. But so Post is not as far along as Mastodon in its development. Mm-hmm. It's a good thing that people don't know why I did that.
It's a good thing people don't listen.
So there's no app for it yet. It is web only, which I don't love. And I'm looking forward to a Mac Post client, but there's also no API yet for third-party developers to make an app. So if that's your thing,
have they said they're going to do that?
What they have said is that they didn't want to do an app until they had enough things fixed that the influx of new users from an app wouldn't basically just shut everything down.
Okay, that's actually smart.
It is their approach to everything has been pretty darn smart. They have, to my knowledge, they have not said there will ever be an API. I would personally be shocked if there wasn't an API. I mean, there's certainly no reason for them not to do it. They are trying to not do an advertising driven model.
You know, if nothing else, there will be an API for the content creators to make it easiand to feed their content into Post.
At some point.
I hope they would do that.
Yeah, you would certainly hope that they would do that. And because there's already all these new news organizations that are posting. Reuters, like a lot of the Reuters stuff, they were pretty fast to jump on to Post. I think that Post has been doing a lot of outreach with publications.
Which, considering what they're trying to do, that's smart.
Yep. So I don't know what kind of tools they're making available to them, but the point is Mastodon is apparently ahead in terms of having third-party app support, and that's great.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I do jokingly bag on Post a lot because
because I'm bagging on Mastodon. It's what we do.
Right. It's what we do. This is how comedy works.
I know you don't actually have a problem with Post, but that you prefer Mastodon.
Exactly.
Whereas I have an actual problem with Mastodon and like Post.
This is just us. This is how it works.
This is the circle of life.
Hakuna Matata. Which I learned just recently from a friend that when you are in Africa, and I'm talking about countries on the continent.
Okay.
Don't say Hakuna Matata.
Okay. Because you're likely going to be in a country where that's not actually a language that is spoken, because there are like 70,000 different languages in Africa.
Right. So first you'll just kind of look like an American tourist.
Yes.
But the other thing is, that doesn't mean the same thing in all the countries where those are words. So in one instance, that means I may not kill you today.
Very generous.
Right. Anyhow, so that's your little Hakuna Matata warning for.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. By the way, that was our quick mention of a Twitter update. And we have several things to talk about. We're 26 minutes into our half-hour show. So let's move on to the
oh my God.
to the other things. So Apple did something very surprising this week.
Yep, and that's the show for this week. Thanks for joining us.
We should tell them what the thing is, Jeff. Why do it's like it's like you don't even like? I mean, it's like you're not even paying attention, or you're just trying to phone stuff in. Well played, man. Well played. All right, Apple announced a new HomePod this week.
I did not see that coming, and I did not expect it. And I'm glad that when that announcement came out, I was sitting down.
That's fair, man. That is fair.
If I hadn't been, I probably would have broke my coccyx.
Here's what I don't understand. Why Apple discontinued the HomePod? What?
No reaction at all to coccyx?
Oh, no, I've heard you use that word before.
Yeah, that's anyhow. Carry on.
I'm sorry. Did you want me? Is that better?
I gotta go. I hear my mom calling.
I don't understand why Apple discontinued the HomePod, thus telling people they should lose interest in this device if they were planning on introducing another one. Why didn't they just continue selling it?
I think they discontinued selling it and didn't have plans to make a new version of it. They probably had plans for a second generation model, and they put everything on ice because I don't think it was performing as a product the way they wanted it to. I mean, for consumers
I'm sure it wasn't.
Who bought it was performing the way it's supposed to. But
no, it was expensive. I'm not sure.
It was expensive. It didn't sell well.
Yeah,
and I think I assumed they had killed it, but apparently they just put it into a medically induced coma.
Yeah, but did you know that? I mean, so I think it was sometime last year. It may have been towards the middle of the year, and I don't know if that continued after that fact. But at least until that sometime this last year in 2022, you could buy a new HomePod to replace a broken HomePod if it was out of warranty.
Yeah, because they still had a bunch of inventory.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, fair.
They hadn't been making them for a while. They were just selling.
But you could still buy one, but only if you were replacing one that was broken and it was like, well, this is out of warranty. I can't replace this and I can't fix it. But if you want to, you can buy one. And it was very heavily discounted. It was like $179 or something, and I was like, wait, are you kidding? Yeah, please. I'm like terrified of losing my HomePods. And so I did. I bought one of them, and it's been great since. We're like really off track. The point is, Apple announced a new HomePod, and by the way, I'm not a fan of the HomePod Mini. It's the sound's too thin for me. I don't love it.
I'm a fan of the HomePod Mini for specific use cases. If I would not have, actually, I have a stereo pair, and do you have a pair of them or just one?
I have 4 of them.
Oh, okay. So you get to hear them in stereo pair. I think they sound much better as a pair than as an individual HomePod.
For sure.
I would not have them as my primary sound system, but I think as like a little secondary thing, like mine are sitting on the headboard. In the bedroom. So I can have these smaller speakers that are close by and playing nice sound when I'm in the bedroom. And it's fine for that. It's a casual thing, but I would never have a Mini set as my primary audio system.
Oh, I have one HomePod. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have one HomePod Mini. I've got 4 HomePods.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I answered the wrong question. And by the way, heard you say something that you were not saying. So now I'm on the page. You have a pair of minis that you use on your headboard.
And they sound much better as a pair than as an individual. It's like when I put them together and set them up as a pair, because originally I had one in the office, one in the bedroom. I thought, that's dumb. Why don't I just have a stereo set? And I paired them, and I was surprised because the audio quality improved dramatically on them as a pair. I mean, it's still not the same as having a HomePod, but and
a HomePod does work better by itself than a Mini works better by itself, or than a Mini works as by itself.
Yeah, I agree.
But also sounds better in a pair. I've got a pair of proper HomePods on my main TV, and I would actually like to replace that with a soundbar and full surround sound and with the subwoofer. But
here's a missed opportunity for Apple. They should sell a HomePod subwoofer and have their software set up so that you can buy minis and put them behind you. So you have 2 HomePods, a subwoofer, 2 minis, and they have surround sound.
Yeah, that would work. Or even the HomePod soundbar, if they really want to get serious about.
I would love to see Apple do a soundbar.
Yeah, and I kind of don't think they will, but then I also didn't expect them to bring the HomePod back. So, all right, they have brought the HomePod back. We are both surprised. And here is my question. Now, this show exists for you to do the research and then me to ask questions and pay vague attention to what you're saying. And
right.
So that I can then text you later with the same question.
Right.
Okay.
I'm glad that we're both on the same page with how the show works.
Yes. My question is, I know that we have what's the thing? Support for Matter, which is the new, we have talked about Matter before. That's the smart home platform that is supposed to be multi-platform supporting.
Yeah, it's like the One Ring of smart home.
Right. And Apple is a partner within the Matter consortium, whatever they're called or whatever they do.
The Matter cabal.
The Matter cabal. I like that. And so that is new. My question is, because these things came out at $299, and what was the original HomePod? Wasn't it $449?
No, it was $349.
Are you sure?
It might have been $399. It was under $400.
HomePod introductory price. I bet this is going to return all kinds of stuff about the new one.
How about if I just launch Mac Tracker? I better put a link to that in the show notes.
$349 in 2018.
There you go, $349.
And that was dropped to $299 in 2019 and discontinued in March of 2021. And the new one is $299. My question is, it's got a new processor, or newer processor. It's using the S7. I don't even know what the S7 is.
It was in Apple Watch. I forget which model, but it was in Apple Watch.
Well, and the original HomePod used the A8, if I remember correctly.
A8. It was an A series processor. It might have been A8. I don't remember, but yeah, it was an A series.
All right. Ichabod is pretty adamant about this.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for the support, Ichabod.
Yeah. I'm going to mute.
All right. So I can't wait for you to tell me or ask me what your next bit of information is.
Well, the question is, what is new? And more specifically, what did they cut? I feel like they would have made it cheaper in some way. And I don't know that that's fair.
It's not fair only because we haven't been able to do a comparison between the OG HomePod and the second gen HomePod.
Yeah, and I'll probably get one to do that so that we can talk about it.
Awesome. All right. Well, then sit back and only partially listen so that you can ask me again later. Here's what's different. Okay, I believe the woofer is the same in both of these models, and that Apple is just offering a little more detail in the description for the woofer. We've gone from 7 tweeters to 5. We've gone from 6 microphones to 4.
7 to 5 and 6 to 4.
Yes. But we have added in a humidity and a temperature sensor, just like is on the iPod HomePod Mini. Gee, man.
So you can get internal temperatures now.
You can get temperatures in the room and humidity in the room. And just so you know, for your HomePod Mini, when Apple rolls out its HomePod software update, which as we record is probably just a few days away,
or happened 3 weeks ago on. From when I posted
or happened 3 weeks ago. Right. Anyhow, those sensors will get turned on your Mini. So
did we know that they were there in the Mini?
Oh yeah, we know they were there. Yeah.
Okay, but all right.
Yeah. Well, okay. Most of us knew, but you were only half listening. So the
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. The display on the top, instead of being the small circle that lights up in the center of the glossy piece, it's now like the Mini where the whole thing can light up.
Right. And bigger than it is on the Mini.
Yeah, and it's bigger than it is on the Mini. It's sunk in a little bit, like on the Mini, whereas on the original, it makes like this smooth, slightly arched top on the HomePod. Still same colors, so black or white, or as Apple calls it, midnight or white.
Yeah.
Here's another change that I have a hypothesis on.
Okay.
802.11ac Wi-Fi is gone, and it is now 802.11n, which is the same as what you have on the HomePod Mini.
Okay.
So that
just makes sense.
Well, no. Well, yes and no, because on one hand, all right, they went to an older version of Wi-Fi instead of a newer version of Wi-Fi.
It's older. Oh, lame.
It's old. Yeah. Keep up, Bryan. Stay on top of this. No. Anyhow, so the older Wi-Fi, and my hypothesis on that is that the primary reason Apple did that was because there's a long-standing problem with HomePods on on AC Wi-Fi networks, where Siri becomes unreliable or unresponsive, music drops out, or just stalls, and a lot of the things that you just expect to work simply don't. But if you force it onto an 802.11n Wi-Fi network, it suddenly becomes super stable. And
well, that's
really
one way
reliable.
to solve that.
And yeah, so instead of fixing the problem, they just eliminated it by putting a different Wi-Fi chip in there. Alternately, they're using some of the same components in both models, but at the same time, then why didn't they put AC in the HomePod Mini? And my guess is that they couldn't fix this AC Wi-Fi problem, and so they're just like, well, then let's eliminate the problem and use 802.11n.
That makes sense.
As far as performance goes, it's not going to make a difference for anyone because the bandwidth that you can get over 802.11n is more than enough for any audio data that you're going to be streaming through these things.
Right.
All right. Next question.
Next question is, what I'm wondering is that cutting down from 7 tweeters to 5 is, I'm wondering if Apple didn't find that most people have these things against the wall.
Well, these are still going to go all the way around. My guess is that they're different tweeters,
but 7
and they didn't need to have as many because of that.
Yeah, but also no, that's true because you don't necessarily know where it's going to be. But yeah, I know it may have sounded to our listeners like it was a setup in the first place. I did have this sinking suspicion that something was lessened, and what I had not actually bothered to figure it out is what, and that what is the cutting from 6 to 4 microphones and 7 to 5 tweeters. And I'm wondering if it will sound as good. I like the way, one reason why I have not bothered replacing HomePod for my 2 HomePods for my main TV is because the HomePod sound is pretty good. It is not as good it is not as good as getting a proper sound system would be, but it's good enough that I just sort of coasted on the inertia. And I'm wondering if the new ones will sound as good.
I'm looking forward to hearing them. I mean, I do like the sound from the original HomePod. And it's, when you compare it to Sonos and you go to comparable Sonos products, pricing wise, you're in the same ballpark. Audio quality wise, it becomes very subjective. And I know some people say, they both sound great. And some people prefer one over the other. So yeah, we need to hear these before we make up our mind. You cannot pair the 2 generations of HomePods. So if you want to do a stereo pair, you need either 2 first-gen HomePods or 2 second-gen HomePods.
And you can get the original generation of HomePod on the secondary market. They're quite often silly expensive.
Right. But I think that's going to change now because
it should.
There's a new model out.
It should change.
So yeah, I never got a second HomePod because I just couldn't justify spending that much money on a second HomePod. Yep. I already had a sound bar, and when I'm in my office, I have my Audio Engine A5s. So why did I need a second one? But if the OG HomePod on the secondary market, if the price just like tanks on that, I may pick one up now. I'm guessing a lot of people at this point will replace their original HomePods for the new ones simply because they want to. I don't think you need to unless there's features that you really need.
Yeah, if your HomePod is working, I don't switch. Don't change it out. Listen, I have been known to buy new Apple products because I could. There is no reason whatsoever to buy a new HomePod to replace an existing HomePod unless there's a problem with your existing HomePod.
If you're thinking, oh, but I really need Matter support. Okay, here's what I would recommend instead. Go to Costco, buy a HomePod Mini for $79. And even if you don't even have to use it for music, stick it in a closet. Doesn't matter, because a HomePod Mini for under $100 is going to give you a HomeKit bridge and Matter support. There you go. Done.
There you go. Done. So to summarize, we were both flabbergasted to see Apple actually announce a new HomePod after having discontinued it in 2021.
Yeah, I honestly did not think this was ever coming back.
I didn't either.
Yet here we are.
I was getting tense in the years after HomePod was announced. I was getting tense that we didn't get some kind of, Gen 2 model. And then lo and behold, 2021 it gets nuked, and then I start thinking, like, how long can I actually keep using my HomePods until Apple cuts support for them for some reason, and or they actually break. One did break. I was able to replace it with a new one. I was super excited, and now I don't have to worry about it because I do like them.
I think that's awesome.
I like having access to Siri around my house. I like the ability to play Apple Music in particular through it and to have everything sync up. That is excellent. And the sound is good enough for my TV that I haven't bothered to buy a new proper sound system, even though I probably will someday.
Yeah,
there you have it. All right. Next up on Apple's announcements, we have MacBook Pro with the M2 Pro and the M2 Max.
Mm-hmm.
And was it MacBook Air too?
And MacBook Air got an M2 chip, and
Where?
Mac Mini got an M2 chip.
I'm not seeing a press release for that.
Oh, well, then
are you sure about that?
How about? Oh, I'm absolutely certain about it, because I have a conundrum now, which is if I replace my 2019 Intel MacBook Pro, should I get M2 MacBook Pro or an M2 MacBook Air?
I don't think that's new. That's the M2. It's wait.
No, it's brand new. The M2 is brand new.
No, the M2 is not brand new. I bought a MacBook Pro with the M2 before I left on my trip. What's new is the M2 Pro. Computers. What is new is the M2 Pro and the M2 Max. That's what's new.
So, all right. So it still creates the conundrum, because the features that you have on these computers.
Man. Dude, way to move the goalpost. That's great. Nice job.
Thank you. All right. Well, whatever. So,
I think the M2 on the MacBook Air also came out in the fall.
Hold on. I'm just going to go back to Mac Tracker and double check. All right. Desktops, no. Notebooks, yes. MacBook Air.
Your apology.
MacBook Air. Oh, check it out. Yeah. Came out last year. Whatever.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not important.
Okay. Well, still. Now we have this M2 MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro. And looking at the MacBook Pro and the Mac Mini, all of a sudden it's like, if I get a new computer, what do I get?
Right. And it does become a more compelling question, especially when the difference is the M2 on the Air and the M2 Pro or Max on the MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
Right. Because now you're talking about some real performance differences. I think it's a different conversation than the same conversation I had about the MacBook Pro with the M2 and the MacBook Air with the M2. That's a different conversation than MacBook Air with the M2 and the MacBook Pro with the M2 Pro or Max.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these computers. Oh my God.
So one of the biggest reasons to get the MacBook Pro would be to get more memory.
Yes, because you can go up to 96.
96 with the I think that's the M2 Max.
You have to do the M2 Max. Yes, you are correct.
And with the Air, you can get a 10-core CPU. How much memory, please?
Where is the memory? Up to 24 gig of RAM.
Right. So 24 is probably going to be plenty for most folk. 90.
That's going to be way more than enough for most folk. The people that need 96 gigs of RAM, those people are a very narrow subset of pro users.
Okay, right. I'm not going to argue.
That's a crap ton of memory, especially with the way Apple handles memory management.
Right, and especially with them being on board. There's two aspects of that. One, you can't change it after the fact, which has been the case for a while. But two, it really is a lot faster than when you have separate memory chips. When you have those cards that you can stick in.
Mm-hmm. The old school thing that we used to do.
Yeah, so 24 gigs on the Air. On the M2 Pro, it's going to be 24. Interesting. So M2... Wait. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Pro. Why?
This is compelling podcasting right here.
So yeah, I am very slowly getting there. I swear. M2 Pro, here we go.
While you're figuring that out, when I was on Mac Voices earlier this week or a few weeks ago, depending on when the show actually goes out, Chuck Joyner brought up something that I thought was interesting. He feels like the Pro part of the Apple product names more and more is accurate, and that these are machines that really are targeting serious pro users. And I'm kind of inclined to agree with him, which makes it weird for me at someone that's a pro user, and I work my machines. I'm looking at the M2 MacBook Air and thinking, this will do everything I need. How weird is that?
It's not weird. It's great. It's just good, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's really good.
All right. So you can get 96 gigs of memory if you get the M2 Max with the 12-core CPU, 38-core GPU, which is pretty monstrous.
Yeah. So you're talking a computer that's over $6,000.
Yeah. Yes. And so you can. I'm seeing 96. It looks like with the M2 Pro, you're limited to 32 gigs, which is still more than 24.
Mm-hmm.
So the real question for you, because I know that we were actually going to discuss what you needed,
which is so weird, but yes,
I know it's weird. Like
pretend like you're me.
Why aren't we? Okay, there we go. So what are you going to? Is this going to be a replacement for you?
This would be a replacement for my 2019 Intel MacBook Pro.
Oh, it's going to be such a difference for you. I very much like my. I got the smaller MacBook Pro with the M2 in the fall, and loved it. It was fantastic. It was fantastic on my trip. It was a great. It's definitely a device I only use when I'm out of the house, or actually when I'm sitting downstairs if I'm trying to write fiction. But I've got to, I don't know. Like I have to sort of divide my worlds.
Sure,
I can't sit at my desk and write fiction because, like, I don't know. Well, see, I managed to make it about me. It's
always about you, Brian.
The point for you is how much do you want to spend, really? Because I don't think you can go wrong. I mean, if you want the Air is probably going to be way faster than your Intel MacBook Pro.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I did some pricing, and for an M2 MacBook Air that would totally meet my needs, $1,799. And
for the Air
MacBook for the Air.
Okay.
And for the MacBook Pro M2, one of the new ones, we're looking at almost $3,000.
But that money is probably well spent.
Yeah,
do you follow my reasoning there?
I do, and at the same time, is it?
Well, you're okay. You are at the very least going to be getting that much more computer.
Am I going to be getting that much more computer that I'm actually really using?
That is the better question.
Yeah, because I mean, I look at the specs and I can appreciate what I'm getting in the MacBook Pro. Do I need the extra ports? Turns out no, because when I'm at my desk, I plug into a dock, and all I need is one cable to plug into that.
And this is going to be your desktop machine too?
And this will be my desktop machine.
Okay, well,
I'm running closed lid mode at my desk, so it doesn't matter if it's a 14-inch or 16-inch display at my desk.
Well, yeah, that's fine. But I think the real issue surely is whether or not it's the other stuff. It's the Pro versus the not Pro. It's the more memory versus the possibly less memory. It's the possibly more cores versus fewer cores.
Yes.
And when it comes to that, at the very least, the more you get will make this machine usable for a longer period of time.
And that is absolutely true. So then the next question is, how long do I expect that I would hold on to the machine?
You've held on to this last one longer than you would have anticipated when you got it.
No, actually.
No, I'm afraid you're wrong. Wait, I'm sorry. It turns out that you're the one who speaks. Okay, got it. Go ahead.
Right. So I'm sorry. I was mistaken when I thought that I'd stick with my trend of 5 years between upgrades, and yeah. So what we're looking at here is what I got this in November 2019. So really a 3-year upgrade cycle on this one. If I replace it now,
you're going to trade in, by the way, your Intel device, or are you going to hand it down, or are you going to sell it yourself?
That depends. I tend to hand down my devices,
same.
Which works great for family members.
But recently I've found myself been trading in more.
And yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I could trade it in. I could just sell it, or I don't know. If I have a family member that needs a good computer, I'd probably just give it to them.
That's another issue, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I look at the cores for the things that I'm doing on my computer. Would I really see a value in the difference between a 12-core M2 Pro chip versus the 8-core M2 chip in the Air? I don't know. I mean, I don't do rendering on my Mac. That actually happens on my iPad.
And are you doing any gaming?
No. My gaming happens on my iPhone, and it's like the one game that I play consistently, and when I say consistently, probably a couple times a month, is Bejeweled. So it's not a gaming machine at all.
Okay. So what about image manipulation?
Yeah, I use Affinity Photo. Actually, I use the Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer, and an Affinity Publisher.
You're out of Adobe entirely?
I am out of Adobe entirely.
Wow,
yeah,
interesting. Well,
I know. Isn't that surprising?
I kind of need you to keep up with that in case I have a question.
Sorry, my bad. Let me go sign up for Creative Cloud right
Excellent.
now.
Perfect. Now things are back the way it should be. So when you configured your machine for $3,000-ish, how much memory was in it?
16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD.
Really? And that costs $3,000.
It was like $28.99.
Well, hold on. I'm looking at the 14-inch MacBook Pro.
16-inch. If I go MacBook Pro, it'll be 16-inch.
Oh, why?
Because that's when I have a MacBook Pro, it's the 16-inch screen.
Okay, well, that's not a reason. I mean, you're trying to decide between an Air and a 16-inch. That's like, do I really want a Hyundai, or do I want like a car that is a lot larger than a Hyundai?
So here's the thing.
Hyundais
if I'm going to spend the extra money on a MacBook Pro, then I'm going to spend the extra money on the bigger display.
Now, here's the real thing. My analogy was terrible.
Oh, I know, but I was just rolling with it because it's you, Bryan. So I'll roll with it.
Well, are you doing any mobile computing? Are you
Not
taking
as much as I used to?
So then why do you want a 16-inch? Why wouldn't you get a 14-inch with more memory? And because you're just using it at your desk anyway. For that matter, why don't you get the Mac Mini?
Because I go out with my laptop just enough that a Mac Mini wouldn't work for me. Now, that said, I did seriously look at the Mac Mini and think, is it time to just not have a laptop computer?
Or to keep your
that afternoon, I had to
Intel
pick up
computer.
Yeah, I could, but I know how that
for
goes.
A little longer. By the way, I adore my Mac Studio.
It's a cool computer. The Mac Studio is amazing. Yeah. Here's a crazy thing. A Mac Mini, a MacBook Air, or a MacBook Pro. Any one of these computers I can easily justify because that M2 processor is kick-ass.
Yeah, it's pretty darn good. I question your adherence to 16 inches. And I'm also going to ignore all of the possible jokes that I am dying to make. But should
I draw you a diagram?
No, do not. That's part of the problem. So if you're not doing a lot of, because you used to, right? You used to spend a lot of time out in public computing.
Yes, before the pandemic, I was traveling a lot, and I was working because we had a social world. I was working at coffee shops and stuff a lot too.
And it's possible that that'll come back again, right? For you, for your personal life, it's conceivable that you will find yourself once again, like living life among the people.
Yeah, well, I mean, if that day comes. And I realize, I need the extra screen space. Then I sell the 14-inch and get a 16-inch.
Yeah, get a 14-inch, man. Get a 14-inch with more memory. Get more than 16 gigs. If you want this machine to last, the memory is the thing that's gonna matter the most. The RAM.
Yeah, and a 1 terabyte SSD is my minimum for storage.
Absolute minimum. Yeah, the fact that Apple sells it for a terabyte is the minimum on the Pro.
Is it?
Yep, I'm looking at it right now. On the Air, the minimum is still 256
or 256. Yeah,
which is ridiculous. 512 is ridiculous.
I agree.
A terabyte should be. I mean, all right, well, whatever. That's probably a rabbit hole.
All right, so let me price out a 14-inch MacBook Pro.
Tell us what you're getting.
Okay, so here we go.
Yeah.
So we're going with the. Well, see, now I need to choose. Do I look at a 10-core or 12-core?
For $200, I would get the 10-core 12. For the Pro, I'm seeing the M2 Pro 12 core. Oh, because I guess I'm looking probably at the high end model, because for $2,500 you can get the M2 Max with a 12 core and 30 core GPU.
Wait.
No, that's not true. That's $30.99.
Yeah, that's $30.99. A 12 core CPU, 19 core GPU is $24.99.
Yeah.
And that has let's see. So a 1 terabyte SSD.
Yeah.
And 16 gigs of RAM. Okay, so we'll just call that good right there. Right?
Yeah, but go with 32 gigs. That's $28.99.
Right, bump it up to 32 gig. Okay, so now we're up to $28.99.
Yeah.
All right.
Which is less than the 16-inch and gives you the kind of memory that is going to ensure a longer useful life, even if which means better resale value, or you holding on to it longer, or better use for anyone that you hand it down to.
All right. So let's do a top of the line M2 MacBook Air. And so we'll max out the RAM. So 24 gigs of RAM and put an SSD in it, or a 1 terabyte SSD, and $2,099.
So it's an $800 difference.
That's an $800 difference. That's significant.
And it's the M2 versus the M2 Pro. And it's 32 gigs of RAM instead of 24. Listen, man, I know that I buy things that are that may outclass my needs. For instance, I have a Mac Studio and a decked out Mac Studio with that. But I do have this very strong belief in the idea, I think the practical reality that more memory always equals longer useful life.
I think that's totally reasonable. And at the same time, I'm now wondering, what is the refresh cycle on my end now? Is it 2 years? Because I'm feeling like now the 5-year cycle that I've gone with in the past, I don't think that's a thing anymore, because there are so many new things that are happening. It's not like the old days where you remember how you used to say there's one crazy thing Apple could do to sell more Macs, and that's to release new models. And now they do.
And now they do regularly.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
So yeah, it's cool. And so now I'm thinking, okay, so how do we balance a faster refresh cycle, which for people like you and me probably also means a faster new purchase cycle, with how much I put in the computer when I initially buy it?
Right.
Yeah.
But again, there's also that resale value too.
There's the resale value.
What I've seen very consistently is that there is a sharp price differential in the secondary market for used iPhones in particular, for minimum spec iPhones versus medium or top end spec iPhones. And the same thing has been true with the Apple's various Mac models. And it's because while the bare minimum spec, if you buy the entry level spec to these devices, that might possibly be, actually, I think there are times when it's not even useful when it's new, but it might be useful when it's new. But by the time someone gets around to selling it, it has become less than useful. And so the price reflects accordingly. So you not only get the enhanced usage while you have it, you get a higher resale value. That resale value is not going to necessarily make up the price delta from when you bought it, but it's going to be some of it. And then on top of that, you have the utility that you derived during the years that you used it.
And that's an absolutely valid argument.
Fantastic. I accept your apology and can't wait to hear about your 14-inch MacBook Pro with 32 gigs of RAM and the M2 Pro.
Now, and see, here's the crazy thing. I feel like I still have useful life in this 2019 Intel.
Mm-hmm.
And
of course.
And that's despite the fact that, yes, the fans go so much that it sounds like I have a spinning drive in there. And I do have to reboot every couple days.
I'd say sell it while you can.
Yeah.
That would be my advice.
And I get that too. So I love that we're living in a time with Apple products where this is a real conundrum. Do I keep this machine? Do I sell it? Do I get a MacBook Pro? Do I get a MacBook Air? And we're looking at all these computers where it doesn't ultimately matter which one I buy because it's going to be great. I mean, it matters in the sense that will it meet my needs?
Yeah, I have to echo that. Despite my advice to get the more powerful device with more memory, you probably won't make a mistake whichever one you buy.
Yeah. For me, the mistake would be to get the mini, and not because it's not a capable machine. I mean, I could buy an M2 Mac Mini and have a machine that does more than I need. It's the fact that I do leave my desk with my computer often enough that having the laptop is just still a better option for me.
Yeah, that fair enough, and it's all it's all the justification you need. I mean, that's totes legit. I don't think anyone could argue against it. I would say here that the closest thing that could be a mistake or not a mistake is simply how long the device is going to be useful. And I believe that your MacBook Pro would be useful for longer. Whether or not that's worth that $800 delta is ultimately up to you and your, financing mechanism.
Yep. And, and what I'm hoping is that this discussion that we've been having turns out to be useful for other people that are looking at these computers and trying to figure out, what should I get?
Yeah, that's the only reason why we have this discussion on the show is to help other folks who are maybe trying to weigh some of the same decision making processes. It's not.
It's not because I actually need help.
No. We do. We do need to sometimes talk these things out, but we also know how to do it not on the show. We just know that some people find it useful to hear people going through the decision-making process.
Yep. And I feel like this has been a great discussion because it's helped me add some clarity to this whole process of figuring out, do I need to replace my computer now or not? And if so, what do I get?
And so to summarize, you should replace it now so that you can sell or trade in your Intel device while it still has some value. And my advice is to get is to spend the extra money if you can to get the device that is going to last you a longer period of time. To definitely not get the 16-inch because that makes no sense and is rooted in a paradigm that no longer applies to your life, I think.
Yeah. The 16-inch before the pandemic was a no-brainer option, and the screen size alone put me in a MacBook Pro.
Yeah, I get that.
But now I can look at it and look at this with more options because a 16-inch isn't necessarily what I need.
Nope. All right. So we are, by the way, at an hour and 10 minutes into our half-hour show. Sorry, 14 minutes into our half-hour show. And we still have the M2 Max itself to talk about, possibly, and more about the Mac Mini. And then, of course, about the December announcement of Freeform, which I really want to learn about, but don't want to take the time to actually find out on my own.
Oh, right. So what I'm hearing is you're looking forward to when we set up a discussion that appears as if we're talking about features together, but I'm teaching you the program.
Yes, exactly. Which we will do in next week's show.
I think that sounds
Look at that. We already have
great.
topics for next week. Wow.
You know, the great thing about having all these topics is that, the concern about not having enough to talk about isn't an issue. I'm actually in Trello right now, pulling topics from today's show and putting them in a new card for next week.
Excellent.
That, people, is how professional we are.
By the way, I think you kicked me out of the our Trello board. At the very least, I can't access to it. We can talk about that off air.
I'm looking at the Trello board right now, and it says you're in here.
Huh.
But we'll take a look.
Okay, great. Fantastic. You can do text for me later. That's excellent.
Yeah.
I see that everything is continuing to act as it should.
The world is working exactly as expected.
Man, I had that timed, but I didn't clue you. All right. Listen, Jeff.
Bryan.
That's this week's Context Machine, man. Now, if you, our dear listener, have anything to comment on, add, or question, you can write us on at contextmachine.io. You can hit us on Mastodon somewhere.
Yeah.
Do a search for us, Context Machine. Or you can go to post.news
somewhere
/Context Machine. Our and still in keeping with the beginning of the show, Twitter.
I want to point out that all the edits are on you.
Yeah, 100%.
I didn't create any edit points for you.
You did not, and I love you for that. The bass is by Dr. Boom.
Yes.
Recorded just for this show. We got to let Ricky know that he's gotten an up. That
he got a promotion.
Yeah. Well, no, that we're recognizing his earned upgrade. It turns out he did the work, by the way. Who knew?
Wow.
Yeah. No, he did the work. He's the one that got that PhD.
That's so great.
That is great.
Why didn't he give it to you?
That is the question. That is the burning question.
Dr. Bryan.
Yeah, just so selfish of him.